do me a little bit of a favor here. So go ahead and set up for me. Okay. Good. Feel it in the fingers. Good. All right. Move it up in our stance a little bit. There we go. And let's get our right foot more perpendicular. See how that right foot? Yeah, there we go. Get it more squared off. And then take your left foot and open that up a little bit for yourself. There you go, son. Yeah. So let's get this guy just a little bit. There you go. Okay. There we go. Hands forward just a little bit for me. There you go. Good. Okay. Reverse pivot on that one, big guy. Move that ball up in your setup. There you go. Good. Good. Okay, hands a little forward. There you go. Keep going, big guy. You're doing fine. There you go. Make sure we got a square club face. Good job. Give me a couple swings here. Okay, back off just a little bit, and have yourself looking at the camera back behind you, and then moving your head forward, like we kind of talked about. So look behind and then look ahead. Okay, and notice where your weight is. Right. This is where we get in the world of feels. Right. We got to feel where that weight is. Right. That feel. Where's that weight supposed to be, right? Not in the front, but in the back as we turn. Good. Good. There you go. All right. So the big thing I see when we start doing this correctly, right? When you get your follow through, you're much more on your left side finished over here. When you get that reverse pivot, you get back over here, and you've got a lot of weight back over here, and you get kind of that reverse C that we see. Does that make sense, big guy?
Yeah.
All right. We played a little Fortnite last night?
Yep.
All right. What club we got there? An 8?
8 iron.
Okay, good. Very good. Now let me ask you a question. Where's that right hand getting? It's getting a little under. Okay, just a little bit. There you go. Better. Better. Okay. Much better. Okay. Good. Working on that grip too. We talked about that as well. Good job. All right, let's take a look at this guy, okay? I'm going to put a few lines in here and take a look. Whoop! All right, see how that head's going into the line there? Okay. Where's our weight?
In the front.
No, your weight now is in the back.
Oh.
Right? See where you're at? See how the head's gone so far back now? Okay. So, okay. And the other thing that we kind of see here a little bit, right, is that at this point your hands are out racing your turn. So you can see that you're about a quarter of a turn, a little bit, getting closer to half a turn with your shoulders here. We've got absolutely no wrist set. Okay? So what you're doing is you're throwing your chest over to the left to accommodate for what your arm pattern's doing. Okay? So if I got you to right here with your hands, okay, that shaft should be here. Okay? That would start to match this a little bit better. Okay? At here, okay, that thing should be about here for us. Okay? And now here comes the lift. Does that make sense? Okay? All right, we'll take one down the line here too. So, you see what we're talking about there, big guy?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Now, let's do this. Let's get one down the line here, okay? Take a look down the line and see where we're at here, okay? So whenever you're ready, give me a swing, okay?
Like a practice swing or a swing at the ball?
We're gonna swing at the ball. We're gonna make contact. Okay? Alrighty. Let's take a look at that guy. Worry about that. Boom. Boom. All right, so the line's a little low for what I want, but I'll figure that out here in a bit. But watch our hands. Out and away. Whoa, look how far, I mean, the line would be a little bit further up, but look how far the hands are out and away. Okay? If we were to look at, let's just go with, should we see? Eric Cole's pretty good, but get somebody else here. Let's take a look at Henrik Stenson. Okay? So if I kind of take a look at his hand path here, there. See how the hands stay closer to the line than going away? Does that make sense, big guy? Okay. And that's all part of, okay, that's the big part of the reverse pivot that you have. So the big thing that we see here, right, once again, okay, is that as you swing, your head's going this way, and then you're reversing your spine tilt, okay? So we want to feel like we've got a head up against a wall here, right? Here, feeling like I'm turning back behind it, down and through, and boom, okay? Your hands are getting too far out to start off with, and then you're getting over the top even more. Does that make sense? Okay. And let's take a look at our, and let's take a look at our face and path here, right? Your path was positive, but your face angle was really closed, okay? And that's for you trying to get back to where we need to be. Oh, back to shell analysis. All right, so let's go back to AI. Okay, so give me a couple drills where you're looking at the camera and then looking through, right? All right, so good. All right, good. Chin up just a little bit. There you go. Good. Yeah. Through. Yeah. Through. Yeah. Okay. Now the other thing we want to kind of focus on and what we saw there, right, is that our hands are outracing our shoulder turn, right? So the big thing that we want to get here, okay, so come on over here, big guy. Okay. This is another drill. Did I show you this one last week? You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so I want to get my club just about this far away, okay, where my hands are just over my right foot, okay, and I've got a little space here, but as I go, I turn, okay? I can promise you, if you can feel like you're turning a little bit shorter, you're going to get everything to match up better, and you'll get more of a quality of a strike than having your hands go way out over here where we're hitting the wall, right? And then we get this lift, and then you're kind of coming over the top a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, big guy. Okay. All right, and that just comes back to, you know, having to do this drill repeatedly and getting that feel, right? Okay, so hold on. Let's see where your hands are going. Set up again. Okay. So set up again for me. Right here. And you get, take it on back. There. Okay. See where we're at? Yep. Okay. So now everything's matching up, shoulders and wrist. Okay. Instead of, okay, for you, it's more like this. Hands are out wide. You've already got half your turn with your shoulders, and we haven't gotten a wrist set yet. So you're going to continue to turn your shoulders, right, until they can't turn no more, and now you're going to try to lift to get into position. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so if I go ahead and hit a few here, I'm going to try to set up a little station for you and see if it will work. So, all right, so I'm going to take this thing and we're going to put it about there. Okay, I'm going to put another one right about here. Now the other thing we're going to kind of do here just a little bit, so you get a good idea about a wrist set here, okay? Now to you, when we do this, it's going to feel like you're lifting the club. Does that make sense? Okay? But it's, okay, so I'm going to put that right there. Okay? Now you're going to hit that and hit through. But what we're going to do here, set up for me, big guy. Good. There. Let's get in position for that. Good. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take the club back and you're not going to touch this on the way back or on the way through. Okay? Can you do that for me, big guy? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Much better. Uh-huh. Down and through.
So go all the way up.
No, let's just make a little quarter turn here. Try to get the club up to about parallel or left arm parallel to the ground. And then you got to strike through. So you're going to hit this and get that. Does that make sense? It's okay. Don't worry about that. Mm-hmm. Try it again. Now let's hit it. Okay. That's to be expected, my man. You're doing good. Good. Okay. Once again. Okay. You see what we're doing here?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Once again. right, so you see how you got the bottom one, the last one?
Yeah.
Okay. That's going to tell me that we early released. Okay. Getting better. Face is shut. Yeah. Now, one thing I can kind of see on that one, we reverse pivot again. Watch what our head does. Even though it's down the line here, I can kind of tell. All right, you see how the head's going forward? This way? Mm-hmm. Okay. If we look at Henrik here, there's not a lot of movement with the head, right? So, if the head doesn't move, we don't need to move it, right? Okay. Does that make sense a little bit for you, my man?
Yes.
All right, so. Here we go once again. Okay. Now, if you hit that, it tells me that we've early released. Okay. And let me kind of demonstrate that for you here just a little bit. Okay. Move back just a little bit for you. Okay. So here, this is what we should see. Okay. All right. So for us, it should be this. See where I'm at there? Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's here. Down the foot. Okay. Let's take a look. We'll take a look on the thing here. But you can see that I'm getting a wrist set a lot earlier than you are, right? And my angle of attack is definitely down and through, right? My weight's going forward, right? We don't want to have that feeling when we come through that we're like this.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, big guy. Just a little there. Okay. Let's try it again, okay?
Still hit it, but it was better.
Yeah, well, it could have been part of the, it's not really on the ground per se, you know, it's got kind of the sticky, so if the speed's coming through, right, it's probably...
Face is definitely closed.
Yeah, that's a grip issue, right? You can see that when we look at it, the club face, maybe a little point, yeah, so you did hit it, okay. All right, so you see where your low point is?
Yeah.
Okay. So, do we have a hitting mat at the house?
No,
We don't have a hitting mat? We don't have a net?
not yet. We do have a net.
Okay. Well, okay, so if we get ourselves a hitting mat, it doesn't have to be anything expensive, right? But we need to have a little something for a reference here. But what I would kind of do, right, is I would take chalk, right, and I'd put one right here where the ball would be, okay? I'd put another one 6 inches behind that, and another one 6 inches ahead of that, okay? And in the world of what we're trying to do, right, is I don't want to hit this chalk line back here at all, on my takeaway or on my downswing, okay? Right now you're hitting back over here, okay, which is a big problem for a lot of amateurs, right? What we want to do is we want to be able to get the line here and definitely be taking the line up here. And that's going to get our angle of attack down.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Right now with it being, so here's the big thing, with it being behind, right? What's happening is you're coming into impact and it's shutting the face down for us. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we do have mats, but my sister took them.
Well, take them back.
We had 3 of them. We had like,
What is she
we
using
had
them for?
one like this, just a little bit taller.
What's she using them for?
She's using it for her little play set.
Okay, well that's...
So hit a few and see if I
What's that?
hit a few and try to like get my angle of attack to A.
Correct. Correct. So that's what we want to kind of work on. is good. Okay. Let's take a look at that grip again, okay? Good. Okay, good. Okay, so as we take that club back, bring it on back for me. Okay. Don't get your hands out so wide. Okay, so it's here. There. See that? Okay. And there. Okay. We don't need that club face being like this at the top. Okay, it needs to be kind of more down that line. Okay. All right, big guy. Okay. Because you're just closing the club face up at the top a little bit for us. Okay. Good. Still kind of getting it a little bit underneath, right? There you go. Okay. 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 All right, give me a swing, looking back towards the camera, okay? Yep. And down and through. Look, right? Look forward. Look. There you go. Okay. Get a feel for that weight. Okay, big guy. Once again. Up. Good. Again. Good. One more time. Okay. So when I kind of feel you kind of go in here a little bit to the backswing, I still feel the head kind of going forward just a little bit. You kind of feel that a little bit too? Yeah. Okay. So that's just something we need to kind of work on a little bit, okay? Got to, you know, got to try to harness that feel. Much better. Much better. Okay, let's keep going. You're doing great. Takes time, right? Try to get that feel for me, big guy. All right, give me a practice swing where we kind of feel, right, looking at the camera and then looking towards the screen as we swing. Get those feels. Yeah. All right. There you go. All right. Shorten up that swing just a little bit for me. Feel like it's a 3/4 swing for you. Good. Okay? That's definitely going to help you with your balance. Good. Okay? Good swing. Good swing, my man. Okay? We're starting to get that A a little bit. Okay? Still got to work on that just a bit. Okay? Good job with the club path. It's out to a positive, which is good. Okay? But ideally, where I'd like to kind of see this for you is probably about 4 or 6 inches ahead. Okay? So that really means that we're getting our angle of attack down, getting our wrist set, and getting that weight to move forward, okay? Okay?
Face angle is still negative.
What's that?
Face angle is -11.
Correct. So that's telling us that we've got a real shut club face up at the top, right?
Probably like that.
Yeah. Okay. So here we go once again. Good. Okay, driving down and through. Good. There you go. Okay, that's all we want to kind of do right now. There you go. There we go. Okay, see what we're doing there? Okay, give me a couple practice swings. Work on that for me just for a sec. There you go. Okay.
Let's go.
Alright. Okay, so we had a low point that was better, right? But we got a face ankle that's getting wobbly. And that tells me that we're getting wonky with our grip again, okay?
Well, the positive side, it was better than 11.9.
Correct. That is correct. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Not,
But it's not as good as the shot before that, which we really had, right?
Yeah.
Good. So get that left hand on top for me. Okay, make sure that left hand is controlling the swing, not the right hand. Okay. Good. And make sure that when we look at that face, is it straight on or is it getting a little closed on us?
oh, I had it.
Okay. That might be where we're at. Good. Yeah, yeah. Set up again for me. All right, take it back for me. Yeah, there you go. Okay. We need to get that wrist set so we can get that angle of attack down. We're like this, right? Then we're going to keep turning our shoulders and not get our wrist set. Okay, good. Good. Good.
On the register.
That's all right. You see what the ball flight was. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, keep going. And then we're going to transition over to putting here in just a minute. Okay, big guy, any questions right now?
No.
Okay, doing good. Got to keep working on those fields, turning around, okay? Good job. Good, there you go, okay? Gonna feel like we shortened up that swing just a little bit, hands a little bit forward. There we go. Good, good, there we go.
That was good.
Hold on one second. Hey Jennifer, can I call you back? Okay, thank you so much. Okay.
Time for putting. We're gonna give this one more try.
Let's give this one more try, okay?
That was the best.
No, it wasn't the best, okay? But let's give it one more, then let's talk about what we need to do, and then we'll transition over to the little dog putt. All right, here we go. Ooh, get those wrists set a little bit earlier for me, my man. There you go, better. It's going to feel like a little bit of a lift for you because we got those arms just running away from us. There you go, good. Good, that's going to get that angle of attack down. Good. Right.
I usually, if I can do it 3 times, I think I'm okay to hit.
Okay, great. Great. Let's kind of keep with that routine then, my man. Good. All right. Better.
2.3. It wasn't a 7.
Right? So let's kind of talk about what we need to kind of work on before we transition over to putting, okay? First thing we're going to do is we're going to steal one of those mats from our sister's playroom or whatever she's doing. We need one.
They used to be in the attic, but I don't know where they all went.
Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to, as I said, we're going to put a chalk line right here where we'll place the ball. We're going to put another chalk line about 6 inches behind and another one 6 inches ahead. Okay?
Yep.
Now the colors I like to use is white for the center, blue for the front, and pink for the back. Okay? Now the idea is when we do this drill is that we don't get any pink on the club at all, on the takeaway or on the follow through. Okay? All we want to get is the white chalk and the blue chalk especially. Okay? What it's going to do is it's going to give you a good visual of what you're trying to look at, right? And give you a good idea of where we need to take the club up. Okay?
Yep.
Now the other thing that we want to kind of do, right? This is another drill we'd kind of use. Wall drill, right? So I would get the club so it's just a little bit away, right? I get the club right over my right hand, have just a little space right there, okay? And then what I want to kind of do is I want to get here and then up. So I get everything to match up when I'm doing this, okay? For you right now, it'd be like this. All right, hands are just running away with the shoulders trying to catch up a little bit. Does that make sense? All right.
If I put a hole in the wall of my house, that's not good.
No, that's not good. But you know, you could probably get up against a fence or something like that and
Probably
just
do it on the outside wall. The outside wall would break this club.
Okay. Well, let's not break the club. Now, let me give you one third way of kind of doing this. Okay. I'd like to give you kind of 3 different ways to kind of do this. So what I would kind of do for you is because your hands go out and away, we're going to put it about 6 inches behind the ball, 1 ball inside, okay? And what we do with this drill is I don't need the ball to go way back, okay? This is to help control your arms and hands a little bit. So it's going to be more like this. You see how that ball just gently goes back, okay? What I don't want to see when we're practicing, okay?
Wait, so you want to hit it, but like gently, not like super hard?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Right? What I don't want to see, here's the opposite. Right? That's the hands just running so far away that it's not going to catch up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay? So that's what we're trying to go for right there. Okay? So once you come on over here and do this drill just one time for me, so you get a feel for it, okay?
Just gentle tap.
Just gentle. So as soon as your club leaves that ball, the hands need to be hinging up. Right? See how that works?
Yeah.
Okay? Now you can see that the ball really went to the inside there, right?
Yeah, that's
Okay, it should just be kind of going gently back. Okay, so that gives you a good idea that you're getting the face to roll over just a little bit.
We have plenty of golf balls at home, so I'll be able to do this.
Perfect. And you don't, you know, you could use like a sponge ball or something like that, whatever it may be, just to kind of get a feel. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, better. Okay, so that's the drill that we want to kind of work on right there, okay? Any questions right now, big guy?
Nope.
All right, so a few things that we want to work on is our angle of attack, right? Getting our wrist to set and match with our shoulders, okay? And the other thing is that we want to get rid of that reverse pivot, okay? Those are the 2 big things that we're trying to work on, and keep working on that grip a little bit, okay? It's still getting a little shut at the top a little bit, and that's why we're going, woo, lefties, okay? What we want to kind of do, at least for our reverse pivot, remember if I put like, the old man puts his hand right here, okay? I want to kind of turn, okay? But I don't want to go like this, okay? So turn with everything there and turn with everything there. That's the natural motion of what we want to do with the golf swing. Okay?
Yep, sounds good.
All right, let's grab that putter, my man. Let's get to what we know.
weird. I can usually get very close from, like, I'm good at putting from far.
Uh-huh.
Like, I've putted from 3 yards off the green, and I put it that close to the hole. But when I'm 3 inches or less, I tap it and it goes like that. I don't really know why. It likes to turn so much when I get to the hole.
Okay, okay. So let's come on over here, okay? And what I'm going to have you do is I want you to kind of set up, and we're going to set up just right here. Okay, good. Okay. Now, what I'm going to kind of do here a little bit is I just want you to make some simple putts for me. And I just want to kind of look at your grip, your setup, and kind of work away from there, okay? So just feel like you're putting to this ball, okay?
So try to hit the ball or don't.
Yes, sir, we want to try to hit the ball.
That's one thing I like to do, is I used to like to hit it with a lot more speed than what I should.
Okay. So we're gonna take that, we're gonna try to take that out a little bit, okay? But I just want to kind of take a look at your setup here a little bit. Okay. Better? All right. One more time for me, and I'm gonna videotape this one for us, okay? I just wanted you to kind of get in a little natural motion, what we're doing. Face on. Okay, good. Now reset for me, please. And we'll take one down the line here. Good work. So let's come on in here and take a look here. Let's take a look at the setup, okay? So we'll take a look face on here, okay? All right, so one thing I kind of see here is a lot of bend with this left arm. Right one's kind of going, okay? We want to kind of have the feeling like our arms are hanging down naturally, okay? Does that look like it's kind of wonky, right?
So like this.
Yeah, we're going to get to it here in just a second. Now the other thing I see here is this thumb, this finger on the side. That's got to go, pal.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, that's got to go. That's got to get out of here. Okay, because that's what's going to help you. You notice how you're pushing your putt, right? This little finger's trying to get involved, right? So we got to get him out. Okay. Okay. Now the other thing we see here quite a bit, right, is watch our head. See how it's tracing the ball? Okay. So what's happening there is your left shoulder starting to open up as you come through, which also incorporates why we may cut the putt, right? You're just talking about how that putt goes, woo, right? So we're going to get on into that.
What about this finger? This finger supposed to be there or now it's supposed to be like this?
Yeah. Yeah. So we want to try to get more of a feeling of it in the palms, right? Other than the real swing, right? Where we're trying to get it in the fingers, we're trying to get it more in the palm feeling here. Right? And what we're really trying to go for is rocking our shoulders instead of kind of hitting it with our hands.
The clock that goes like this.
Like a pendulum, yeah. But there's also a little bit of an arc. Okay, so remember, the club's going to come in a little bit and it's going to go out a little bit. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's take a look at this. Okay. So one thing I kind of see here a little bit is the eyes may be just a little bit inside the line a little bit, which is okay. I don't want them ahead, okay? But once again, you can see your eyes are tracing the club head.
You can tell I hit it right because
Hit the right side of the ball, right? Okay. Okay, so the other thing is here, and you're doing pretty good. I'm not gonna stop you on that, but you can see that your left or right forearm's making kind of a straight line with the shaft, okay? But you can definitely see that this left arm is way out front, right? Okay, so it's gonna be tough for us to get that pendulum motion if we got two arms working in two different directions. Does that make sense? Okay.
my finger? Oh,
No, no, because that's going to be a little pushy push.
no.
All right, so we don't want to do that. So let's kind of go with this here, okay? Let's go with our setup.
I used to not putt with neither of my fingers. I used to putt like, well, I still have my arms bent, but I used to putt like this.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was playing with my grandpa, and I would like come back like kind of shaky sometimes when I was a little weaker than what I am now.
Mhm.
So he told me to do this. You can keep the club like steady coming back, but not like forth, I guess.
Well, let's be honest. Well, here's a fair question to
Kind
it.
of works, not really though.
Right. Well, you know, you can perfect an imperfected move, right? You
Yeah.
can perfect it, but it's going to rely on rhythm and timing if that guy shows up other than technique. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? So one day it may work and one day it doesn't, right? If the old rhythm and timing show up that day, it's on, right? But the technique isn't correct. Does that make sense right there?
Yeah.
The three parts that we want to kind of have that work together, okay? Now, another fair question here, right? How many guys on tour do you see with their finger down the shaft, putting? Zero, okay? Right? So, because what we don't want to have is we don't want to have these little guys getting involved, okay? I want to have the feeling of rocking my shoulders, my hands kind of staying more passive, right? There is going to be a little bit of a forward shaft lean, but much more rocking motion. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the other thing that we kind of see here a little bit is your head moving quite a bit,
Yeah, I do this.
right? We're tracing more of the club head than we are keeping our focus on the ball.
Yeah.
Right? So when we watch, like, you know, Tiger was always a great putter at it, right? But the big thing he would do, right, is that when the putt would leave, he would still have his focus down here after the ball left, right? And then he would kind of come up, right? For you, it's kind of like this. Does that make sense, big guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to do a golfing practice camp, and I want to see if there were actually like telling good lessons compared to you, because you are a pro at golf, but you teach people. They taught me to, so you don't do this
Uh-huh.
when you go to hit. Some like practice it, don't do it when you're playing, but like do this so you don't like look, so your shoulders are so open after you hit it.
I mean, there's a
look back.
That's a feel, right? I wouldn't take that to the course, but it is a feel, right? What I typically would do, right, is I would take a set of basically safety glasses. Okay, I duct tape the front half of my left eye,
Yeah.
so I didn't get to the idea of looking. So it would cover, basically put a patch on my left eye, and I would stay focused on that. Does that make sense a little bit? Okay.
That makes more sense.
Right? But I have heard people say that you want to kind of do that. I mean, that's not something I haven't heard, right? It's just not something I do, right? So I wouldn't say it's wrong, right or wrong. It's just a different method.
Some people teach different ways.
Oh, absolutely. That's the beauty of this game. There's
Same.
no
Same hit, same sport, just different technique.
right. So what we're going to do here, just a little bit, right? I'm going to get this little guy right here. Okay. Now what you can do is you can definitely use balls for this. Okay. We're going to put that right here. Okay. Now go ahead and put your club on in there. Okay. So I'm going to give you just a little space.
My club does have a big head.
It does, and that's fine.
It absorbs a lot of the vibration and feel of the ball when you hit it. That's why I think I tend to hit it very hard.
Okay, we're just going to have to work on green speed a little bit. Okay. Or speed a little bit, but okay. So I'm going to just kind of get this set up and then have you back out just a little bit for me, okay? Back on out just a little bit. There you go, buddy. All right, set up for me. All right, good. So, all right, so one thing we want to kind of do is we want to feel like the ball's up in our setup. So it's going to be probably about one ball in front of our heel, okay? Now the other thing I want to kind of look at here just a little bit, if I kind of put this right here, okay? Go ahead and set up, okay? So we want to get that thing square, okay? You're kind of getting it a little closed, okay? So this is kind of one way we can kind of practice a little bit to get that feel, Okay, does that make sense, big guy?
Yep.
Okay. Now, as we talked about, we want to feel like the arms are hanging off the shoulders naturally. Okay, good. Getting our fingers off of that. Okay, and really feeling like we're kind of rocking the shoulders. Okay. All right. Good. All right, so we're going to jump on into our little station here. Okay. Now, what we're going to try to do here, right, is that we're going to try to keep the club through here, okay, without hitting the sides, and we're going to try to roll the ball through these two balls. Does that make sense? Okay, so this is going to be back to the world of feel. Okay, so we're going to get that club right there behind that ball. Okay. I don't want it back over here, right, because then we're going to get here, and then we're really going to launch it. Does that make sense, big guy?
Yep.
Okay. Hands are going to be just slightly forward. Very good. Now just kind of give me a little stroke and come through there, okay? Good.
Oh, hey, there's the shot.
You did it. You did it. Now come on. Let's keep going, all right? Good. Right? Now, did you see how you hit that ball straight on?
Yeah.
Not with a cut or anything like that, right? So we're keeping that club face square to our target line as we come through, right? Good. Okay, you hit that one little side, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Getting the feel for it, which is good.
I mean, it wasn't necessarily, I would say, too bad, but it's not what we need. We want perfect.
Well,
Practice makes perfect.
well, yeah.
I hit the green ball again.
Yeah. So here we go, once
Say
again.
that.
Okay, so feel like our arms are hanging out. Yep, there you go. Just a small stroke. Good. You're still kind of hitting a little bit of that side, though. You
Yeah.
feel that? Okay.
Do the same thing.
Okay. Okay, so let's move up in our setup. So this way, keep going. There you go, good. Much better, okay? Hands a little forward for me. All right, so we're getting a little wonky with this, so we're gonna, there you go. Bring that toe to here. Everything. There we go. Good, good. All right. Much better, okay? Good.
That's weird. I
Mm-hmm.
thought that ball's supposed to be in the middle, not over here.
No, we don't want, we want the ball slightly up of center, okay?
That wasn't good.
No, that's okay. Set up again, come on, big guy. It's all right. Now, one thing I'm seeing here a little bit, right, is that our path is not hitting this thing anymore, but we're hitting the ball. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I didn't have both.
Okay, that's good.
That one. the-
So I'm going to set this guy on up for you. Okay, then I'm going to kind of videotape it down the line here real quick for us, okay? Things moving all over the place, partner. Does that make sense?
It should be an arch. Should
Yeah,
be
so you're-
this and then a little bit that way.
Yeah, so you're
I'm doing the opposite arch.
so you're taking it out, and then you know that you need to come back to the inside, and then you kind of overdo it a little bit, right? That's
Yeah.
okay, right? We got to videotape these things so we know what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong, right?
Yep.
That's the big thing. Let's do it again. Okay. try to keep that. There you go. Okay, you can probably move it back in your stance just a smidge. There you go. There you go. That's a good position right there, buddy. I got you. Don't you worry about that big guy. I got you.
It slip through.
Yeah, it just slips through. You're good. So let's kind of do this. Let's kind of do a poor man's version of this. So you've got a good idea what this does, right?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. So let's kind of talk about how we can work with this on the field, right? At practice, right? So set up for me, big guy. Okay, so I'm going to put one ball right here. Just outside, we'll give you a little space. One right there. Okay. And then what we're going to kind of do here is if I put a ball right here per se, all right, I'm going to put two little balls on the outside. Okay. Just as so. Okay, so that's kind of what we want to kind of do. I just want to make sure we can get a ball through there, right? Okay.
I can do that. It's gonna be
Correct. Correct. So let's kind of do that. I'm even going to make this just a little bit wider for us for practice purposes. Okay. All right. So when we're out there or at home, this is what we want to kind of practice, right? Okay. So this is going to help with our path and it's going to help with our putter face as we come through, right? Okay, give me a couple swings there, okay? Get a feel for it. Good. Okay. Hit that one a little bit on the outside.
Yeah.
All right. Felt that. Good. Better.
Every time I do the arch, I make it.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm supposed to do the arch, but like when I forget it, I hit. But when I remember to do it, I don't hit anything.
Well, think about this, partner. If I looked at your shoulder sockets and your arms, right? We don't actually go straight back unless we're trying to pull ourselves back, right? If I sat here, that's my natural motion with my arms and shoulders. Does that make sense? Right? So there's a little bit of an in and a little bit of an out. Good job, buddy.
No, I tapped that one a little bit.
Okay, good. There we go, big guy. Okay, good. Okay. Feel how you're kind of unsteady and you're kind of moving that club a little bit? Okay, good.
Do my arch.
All right, so here we go. Set up again for me.
Do I hit?
Yeah, oh yeah. Okay, so you see what we're doing with our head? Okay, we got to keep that head still, right? Okay. So, set up again for me. I'm going to take this on out. Good, put that club on in there. Good, good. All right, your goal, if you choose to accept it, right, is I want you, okay, let me see if I can, I don't think I have anything to kind of put on the ground. What we want to kind of do here, right, is that we want to have, I want you to do 5 passes through these balls, and your focus is to stay looking at the carpet as you go through. Okay? Okay, let's go. Give me 5. Missed it. Okay, put the club down again. There we go. Okay. We don't need that long of a swing, right? Okay. Once again, set up again. There we go. Okay. So here we go. Set up. Come on back. That's it. Okay. Now come on through for me. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Once again. All right. There you go. Once again. Once again. There you go. Again. Yep, there you go. Very good. Good work. Very good. Yep, one more. Good. So now here I go. I'm going to put that right here for us. Do the same thing for me, okay?
But hit the ball.
But hit the ball. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yeah, there you go, buddy. Okay? So what we need to work on with our putting, right, is that we need to start getting fingers and everything out off the putter grip, okay? We need to feel like our arms are hanging off our shoulders naturally, okay? And the other thing is that we want to get that ball a little bit up in our setup, okay? Because what we want to kind of do actually is kind of get the ball hitting on the top a little bit so it starts to roll a little bit. If I get it too far back, then I start bouncing the ball. Does that make sense?
That's why I jumped.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? Now what we want to do a mess of is this drill right here. Okay, I wouldn't worry about the balls out in front right now, but we need to work on that, right?
Okay.
Work on our path, and our face will come with that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, any questions, big guy? Okay, I think that's about it. I think your mom's here.
We can hope so.
You can hope
She
so.
went to